Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Grilling on the Preserve. I am Rob. What we're doing today is a smoked Mojo spatchcock chicken that we're gonna cook on the Weber charcoal grill. As you can see here, we've done a spatchcock technique. We're gonna insert a clip right after this to show you what we did last night, which is the spatchcocking of this. It's about a 5-pound bird, how we did that technique, the spatchcock technique, what marinade we put on it, as well as what rub we put on it. Again, we're gonna insert the clip now. After that, I'm gonna take you outside and show you how we are going to smoke this using the Weber 22-inch kettle grill.
All right, guys, I'm going to show you guys how to spatchcock a chicken. What we have here is a 5-pound bird, and I want to talk to you really quickly about the utensils that we're using. We have a pretty big cutting board that we're going to utilize to cut everything, as well as a pair of really good kitchen shears. So, as I said, we've got our 5-pound bird here. And what we're gonna do first is I have rinsed this bird out. We're going to flip this guy over. And when I do, if you look up here, you can kind of see this is the backbone of the chicken. So what we're doing for this recipe is something called spatchcocking. What the spatchcock means is we are going to cut this backbone out of the chicken. And what that means is right along this is the backbone, the spine of the chicken. We're gonna cut that all out. And so what you can kind of do on the other side is kind of gauge, this is about a 1-inch spine. So what we're gonna do is grab our shears, and what you're gonna want is some pretty decent size and quality kitchen shears. But we're cutting through the bird's breastbone, backbone, etc., and just cutting through and exposing this bone out. And here we go. Okay, so we've gotten one side done. We're gonna go ahead and get the other side done as well. And if you've got a muscular man, this is when you want to get him involved. And this is why a good pair of shears is so important. So now what you're gonna do, you're gonna take your chicken, which has now been spatchcocked, you're gonna flip it back over, and we're going to sort of spread it out. And what we're going to do is break this breastbone right here. And the easiest way to do it is to do your palm flat, your other hand over the top, and you'll hear kind of the bone break. There we go. And what this does is kind of helps to get the chicken to lay more flat as you are cooking it. And that's how you spatchcock a chicken. Okay, so now that we have got our chicken spatchcocked, what I'm going to talk to you guys really quickly is about how to make our marinade that we're going to be using. So our main ingredient here is this Mojo mix. You can make a homemade Mojo rub if you want. We're just going to use this really quick Badia Mojo marinade. We have also used other Mojo marinades. This is our second recipe using this one. The other liquid is just some Worcestershire sauce and some soy sauce, as well as this Mojo rub that we've also sprinkled into this bowl. In addition to the Mojo, the Worcestershire sauce, and the soy sauce, we also have in this bowl some garlic powder, onion powder, some red pepper flakes, and black pepper and salt. And here you guys can see what our sauce looks like. It's nice and thick and ready for our chicken to be placed in it. So now you guys can see what our marinade looks like. And here we've got our spatchcock chicken. What we're going to go ahead and do is first, I'm going to put this chicken in breast side down and let the marinade get all over the chicken. And then what I'm gonna do is flip our chicken over into the bowl and let the rib portion, the inner portion of the chicken, get some of that rub, and then flip it back over. And as you can see, as I'm flipping it over, the rub is kind of dispersing around. And I'm using my hands, which you might think is a little gross, but I think the best tool that you can use are your hands. We're going to mix it around. What I'm also gonna do here, guys, is separate the skin a little bit from the meat itself. And I'm going to take some of this rub and get it in there as well. And what this rub also has is a little bit of olive oil, which I think will help with the cooking process. And I'll do the exact same thing down here in between where the thigh meat is. You can also get your finger up in there. Try not to rip the skin and get some marinade in there as well. And again, what I'm gonna do is I want this to marinate skin side down because the bulk of my marinade is down at the bottom of my bowl, but I want to also have some good amount of marinade in the rib portion. And that's all we're gonna do as far as marinating.
So before we head outside, I want to explain how we got the chicken to look the way that it does now. What we did was we, after it finished marinating 16, 17 hours, 18 hours, something along those lines, used some paper towels. I patted it dry, took off that marinade that it was soaking in, patted it dry, and then I just did a little bit of a Mojo dry rub on the top, put it back into the refrigerator, as you can see on a wire rack and a cookie sheet. The purpose of patting it dry and putting it back in the refrigerator is this is gonna, basically the rub is gonna kind of pull out any leftover moisture that's in there, and putting it in the refrigerator is gonna help dry the skin out so that whenever we smoke it on the Weber charcoal grill, it's gonna have a nice crisp bite to it whenever we actually cut into this chicken. So let's head on outside and I'm gonna show you how to set up the grill. So as I said, we're gonna be out here on the Weber 22-inch charcoal kettle grill. It's just the basic version, that's what we're using out here today. I've got a couple add-ons for the grill too that I'm gonna use. This is what's known as a chimney, a charcoal chimney that you're just gonna pour the charcoal in here and use an igniter. I use this little piece of tumbleweed here that I'll just stick right there and light it, and that's just going to cause the chimney to light up a little bit faster. You don't have to have this, you don't have to have the chimney. It's just a nice, easy tool to use, and it's relatively inexpensive to buy. Additionally, you'll notice that I have these little baskets here that I'm going to use as well. Again, not necessary for the cook that we're going to be using today, but these are two baskets. Again, these were inexpensive to buy. In essence, what I'm going to do is use indirect heat on this chicken today, and you'll see whenever I place it at the bottom of the grill that we're going to fill these up with some charcoal, and it's going to cause indirect heat to go to the middle of the grill, which is where the chicken's going to be at. Now we're going to go ahead and add some charcoal to the chimney that I just mentioned. So you'll see what we have here is about half of each one of these baskets is filled up about halfway full of charcoal, and then on the chimney here, about a quarter of the way, maybe half of the way up there, I'm going to go ahead and light this now. That's going to ignite this. All this is going to really need to be on the flame for is probably about 5-10 minutes, just because we don't have a lot of charcoal in here. Once it's completely lit, you'll see that it's a little bit gray and ashed over. We'll pour what's on it. We'll do half into this basket, half into that basket here. And if you don't have these baskets, again, it's not a big deal at all. All you need to do is just make a little pile of charcoal on one side and another little pile of charcoal over on this side. Again, the goal is we're going to cook the chicken right here in the middle. It's going to be called indirect heat because you're not cooking right on top of the charcoal. It's going to come up in the top of this kettle and disperse the heat over the middle. That's how we're going to do it. So if you don't have these baskets, again, no big deal. So we are back about 10 minutes later. You can see it's nice and ashed over. Also, you can see that I've added a drip pan in here. That's just going to be placed right where the chicken's going to go. Catch any of the fat that drips down, kind of keep your grill a little bit clean, because at the bottom here we do have the bottom vent completely open, so anything that goes through there should be caught by this. But again, just I always put that there anytime I'm cooking, just to be safe. Now we're going to add about half of this charcoal into each basket here. Again, as I had stated, that's going to keep this lit for certainly enough time that we need for this chicken. Again, we're hoping to get this thing done in about 2 hours or so. So as you can see, we've now added enough thickles to where we've got 2 pretty full baskets. I've moved everything around. We're going to be using some oak today whenever we're smoking. Especially with this chicken, I think oak is a nice neutral wood that's going to be on here. We're just going to do 1 chunk on it. What we're going to do is just place it on top here. It's going to go ahead and get hot, and it's going to start making some smoke. So we're going to put the grate that I have on here, and then we're going to put the top of the kettle on it. Let that kind of sooty grayish smoke begin to burn with this oak. So we'll come back in about, and you can see it's already catching on fire a little bit, and that's going to create your smoke flavor here in the Weber kettle. We'll come back in about 5 or 10 minutes once that grayish smoke has cleared, and we'll put the chicken on. So we've gone away from the sooty, bad color smoke. It's a bluish kind of see-through smoke. That's whenever you know you've got some good smoke. So we're about ready to put it on again, a little bit over 5 minutes. We've got our chicken right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and lay it down. Really no right or wrong way to put this chicken down. I'm going to go ahead and just drop it on this way with the breast facing that way. We've got the wings also that are up there, the thighs and the drumsticks and everything down here. And then we're just going to go ahead and place our, wish I would have brought a rag out here, but we're going to go ahead and place our kettle on top. And where we're at right now with the bottom vent, we're at about 75% open. Same thing with the top vent. Again, doesn't really matter which way you place the vent here, because we do have the 2 baskets over here. So you either want the vent this way or this way. Either side doesn't matter too much. Okay, we're a little bit over an hour into the cook. Really no reason to check it. I just want to make sure that we're not, losing any charcoal or anything like that. So I'm gonna open it up. Let's take a look. Again, we're a little bit over an hour right now. Just see where we're at. Oh wow, it's taking a lot of color on that. Oh, that looks really good. As I expected, you can see the charcoal. We probably need to just shake these baskets around a little bit, just to get a little bit more of the ash to burn off from the charcoal. So I do have this add-on here for the Weber grates, where you can flip it up, and we've got these 2 baskets here, and that's how I set this up, so that I can go on both sides, and I can again just ash the charcoal a little bit, which is what I'm going to do. Again, we'll come out here, we'll do a temperature check in about 30 minutes, because it is taking on a lot of color. So far that looks extremely good, but I'm just going to ash this charcoal real fast, and we'll be back out in about 30 minutes, and we'll check the temperature of this. Okay, we just hit the 2-hour mark, so I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off, and I've got an InstaRead digital thermometer here that we're just going to go into the breast, into the thigh. Oh, that took on some really, really good color. That Mojo rub definitely soaked into this really, really well. I think we're there, but let me go ahead and test it, and we'll see. I'm getting little to no resistance whenever I go into this. We are at, you want to be at 165. I'm getting a read at 178 in that breast. I'm going to go into the thigh here. Really, really crispy skin too. Getting about 178 right there. So we are done. We are ready to take this off. What we do at this point is we take it off. I'm going to go ahead and put it onto a cutting board. We're going to let it rest probably 10 to 15 minutes. Again, I always let any kind of meat that I cook, I always let it rest But we're gonna go ahead and take it off now so that it doesn't get any more, any more cook on it, and we'll see you in a bit.
All right, and let's go ahead and give this guy a taste. This bird is so juicy. Due to the fact that we spatchcocked it, everything is cooked evenly. The bird is nice and crunchy. You guys can kind of hear the skin a little bit. When we cut into it, you smell that burst of that citrus, that mojo that is just so signature for a mojo chicken, and a subtle smoke flavor encompasses the entirety of the meat. It's beautiful and moist, and again, crispy, and that brine and marinade really soft in there. You can get the dry rub that created that beautiful crust. We highly, highly recommend that you guys make this mojo chicken. We've actually got some cilantro, lime rice, and some black beans currently being cooked to have alongside our dish. And we hope that you guys will try this recipe. If you do, please drop us a comment down below and let us know how you like the recipe. Please subscribe to our channel and click that bell so that you can get notified every time we make a video. See you guys next week.